This next non-title tag match has my attention, and being embedded with the Stronghold, I'll tell you what the Freak and Wild Thing and Sylvia thought about this match with hometown boys. The Hart Foundation.
So how's that been working out for you, being around Sylvia and the gang all the time?
If you were allowed to record it, you'd have an amazing reality series.
Just a deafening reception in the Mellonville Center, just roaring it up for their hometown heroes and local legends, the Harts.
Following tag team contest is set for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Introducing first at a combined weight of 515 pounds, from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, Bret the Hitman Hart, and from Las Vegas, Nevada, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, the Hart Foundation.
The Hitman and the Anvil, well now, in their hometown. So from their standpoint, it's going to be a really good matchup, this non-title matchup with the Snarl Tag Team Champions, the Freak and the Wild Thing, accompanied by Sylvia Strong. GB, you're the guy with the inside dope. Tell me what you got.
Sylvia, on behalf of Freak and Wild Thing, say they're not under pressure with the non-title matchup, and they're just happy to be part of tonight's card with the Hart Foundation. And their opponents accompanied by Sylvia Strong at a combined weight of 478 pounds, from Paducah, Kentucky, the Freak, and from Staten Island, New York, Wild Thing Wayne Tate, the Star Tag Team Champions, the Psychodelix.
They may look like people you don't want to meet in the biker bar, but Freak and Wild Thing Wayne Tate, well-spoken gents who just happen to be able to brawl. Snarl Tag Team champs for quite a while now, very big with the fans, and ready to rock it against the excellence of execution and the Anvil. Our first tag team match tonight, and kicking it off big.
The Stronghold stable, of course, with more championship gold than you can shake a stick at. And now Warlord Santos is a Triple Crown champion again after whipping on Randy Savage. And it's sent to Short Popeye and most of his crew into seclusion after Hotter Than July.
You'll also notice there are no sectarians on the card. Me and the $1 Million Man and JBL, we had a little bit of hand in that business.
So we know GB is down for the Psychodelix, and yeah, I guess I am too. What you say, Tex?
I say, I'm gonna wait and see what happens, but I favor the Freak and the Wild Thing too. Well, the Hart Foundation is gonna give the Psychodelix a really tough time here in Calgary tonight. And most of this crowd is already against the Freak and the Wild Thing. All right, it's said to be the excellence of execution and the Freak starting us off here. First tag team match of the night, and yeah, we are definitely kicking it good. Tom Canamora sounds the bell. They come center ring. Kick to the midsection from the Hitman. Arm drag from the Freak. The Freak quickly countered by Bret Hart. Nice crucifix from the excellence of execution. A stomp to the head. Another. Bret the Hitman Hart with the advantage at the moment. Here's a stump puller. Ref checks in. But the Freak pulls him out. Back up on his feet. Bret misses with the crossbody. Counters with a quick elbow. Snap mare to the Freak. Elbow to the shoulder. And Bret the Hitman Hart drags the Freak towards the Hart Foundation's corner. And here comes Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Well, it's about to get intense here. These guys about the same size, about the same build. Look at this. The Freak counters it into a DDT. Down goes the Anvil. Oh, man, he caught it hard. The Freak rounds up Jim Neidhart. A boot right to the face of Jim, the Anvil Neidhart. The Anvil catches a hard shot from the Freak. Hard whip to the Psychodelix corner. Here's a clothesline. Down goes the Anvil again. The Freak rounds him up. There's a back body drop from the Anvil. Jim, the Anvil Neidhart starts to go to work on the Freak, but the Freak back up on his feet with a shot to the midsection. Anvil counters, gets a hold of the Freak, whips him to the Hart Foundation's corner. Here comes Bret the Hitman Hart on the tag. Hard whip to the ropes for the Freak, double back body drop as the Anvil takes over for the Hart Foundation. Bret the Hitman Hart takes over. And Wild Thing Wayne Tate takes over for the Psychodelix. Bret the Hitman Hart counters him, whips him to the corner. Big time drop kick. counters the... Oh, man, Wild Thing Wayne Tague quickly taken down by the Hitman. Counter. Back body drop from Bret Hart on Wild Thing Wayne Tague. Tague counters with a shot to the midsection. Whoa! Hung up on the ropes by the Hitman. The Freak finally getting back up on his feet. Here's a belly-to-belly suplex from the Wild Thing. Wild Thing rounds him up. The Hitman whipped to the Psychodelix corner. Here comes the Freak on the tag. Sylvia Strong watching the boys work here. Drop toe hold, elbow to the back. As the Freak takes over for the Psychodelix, the Snarl Tag Team Champions. Not doing too badly here. Bret the Hitman Hart with an arm drag on the Freak. Rounds him up. They lock up. Whoa! Shoved down. The Freak. The clubbing overhand right. Quick hot tag to Jim the Anvil, not Hart the Anvil. Oh, man. The Freak just grabbed a hold of him. It's like pulled him out of the air. Here's some elbows from the Anvil. Jim Neidhart misses with the drop kick. The Freak trying to move in. Clothesline from Jim Neidhart. The Anvil gets a hold of the Freak, whips into his team's corner. Running splash. Out of the corner comes the Freak. The Anvil covers, hooks the leg. One. Just the one. Sylvia Strong. Still looking pretty confident here. The Freak gets a hold of the Anvil. Side suplex. The Freak drags Jim Neidhart towards his team's corner. And here comes the Wild Thing. Wayne Tague immediately picking up where the Freak left off. Anvil says, no, you don't. Quick counter from Jim Neidhart. Gets a hold of Wayne Tague. Takes a little walk with him, but Wild Thing says, no, I'm going to just take a little walk on my own. Gets a hold of Jim Neidhart. Neidhart counters with a forearm. Gets a hold of Wild Thing. Tom Kitamura, get out of the way. Here comes Bret the Hitman Hart. A double team from the Hart Foundation. The Wild Thing catches a back body drop. The Hitman with a nice uppercut. Wild Thing with a hard shot. Another. Pins Bret Hart towards his corner. Misses with the splash. Whips Bret to the other corner. Bret counters and gets out of that one. Misses with the crossbody. Wild Thing Wayne Tague takes him down center ring. Tague gathers him up. Whips Bret to his team's corner. The Freak brought in on the tag. A double team from the Psychodelix. Drop toe hold, elbow to the back for Bret the Hitman Hart. The Hitman counters, winds up the arm on the Freak and snaps it. Gets a hold of the Freak, whips him to his team's corner. Oh man, it's been like a tennis match. The Freak counters and escapes the corner. Gets a hold of Bret, whips him to his team's corner. And here comes Wild Thing Wayne Tague. Off the middle rope, double axe handle across the arm of Bret the Hitman Hart. Wayne Tague, boom, DDT center ring for the Hitman. Hart rounded up again. Tague whips him back into the corner, and here we go. The Hitman gonna be the guest of dishonor at a Psychodelix boot party. The Freak blind tags Wild Thing, takes his turn. Wayne Tague blind tags the Freak, takes his turn. Bret the Hitman Hart in all kinds of trouble here. And there comes the coup de grace, the drop kick, and out rolls Bret the Hitman Hart out of the corner. And I'm sorry, that hurt. Here's a cover from the Freak, one. But Jim the Anvil Neidhart breaks it up. Wild Thing shows him the door. The Freak rallying the folks here in Calgary. They definitely not appreciating watching Bret the Hitman Hart get beat up. And the Freak just drinking it in. He can be spiteful. Oh, well, like I said, he can be spiteful. Now, trying to deprive the Hitman of some air here. Here's a clothesline. A second one. A rebound off the ropes and a big-time kick to the head of Bret the Hitman Hart. Oh, the fans are getting really upset. Oh! Look at that. Neck breaker dropping, into an inverted dragon sleeper. The Hitman finding his way out of that one. Headbutt from the Freak. The Freak Whip to the ropes by the Hitman. Taken down to the canvas on elbow. Right to the shoulder of Bret the Hitman Hart. The Hitman counters the Freak. Whips him to the corner. The Freak counters. Kick to the midsection. Tries for the DDT, but Bret the Hitman Hart counters and finds his way out of another spot here. The Freak right back into the corner again. Hart turns him around. Running Bulldog. Face first into the mat goes the Freak. The Hitman rounds him up again. Whips him right back into the corner one more time. He's going to go for it again. Oh, man. Not once but twice, and now the fans have definitely woken the hell up around here. Bret the Hitman Hart on a roll. A third trip to the corner for the Freak. The Freak says, no, we're not doing that a third time. The Hitman counters with an elbow, catches a kick from the Freak. The Hitman counters, kicks to the leg. Here's a forearm from the Hitman. The Freak rebounds off the ropes. Back suplex from Bret the Hitman Hart. The Hitman rounds him up, slams him down on the canvas again. The Hitman countered by the Freak with an uppercut right there. The Hitman whipped to the corner. Oh, the Freak misses with the running splash. Whoa, swing dang neckbreaker from Bret the Hitman Hart. Starting to work up a little bit of a sweat here. The Freak with another uppercut to the Hitman. Misses with the clothesline. Bret the Hitman Hart whips the Freak to the Hart Foundation corner. Drop kick, rolls the Freak out of the corner. And there we go. The fans in Calgary lighting it up for the Hart Foundation here. The Freak counters with an elbow to the Hitman. Clothesline takes the Hitman down. The Freak trying to twist the head right off Bret the Hitman Hart. Slams him down. Oh man, he is working the crowd into a bad mood. The Hitman counters with a shoulder tackle. Takes the Freak down to the canvas center ring. The Hitman stalking the Freak. Takes him down to the canvas center ring, and here we go. He is setting up the sharpshooter. Tom Kanemura watching things, but the Freak says, no, we're not doing that. Whoa, hard shot to Bret the Hitman Hart. Rounds him up over the shoulder. The Hitman counters with an inverted DDT. Makes his way out, turns it over to the anvil. And just like that, the tides have turned in this one. The Freak with a shoulder tackle on the anvil. Anvil gets a hold of the Freak. The Freak slaps his hand away. Oh, look at this. Jim the Anvil Neidhart insists he'd rather stay. Jim the Anvil Neidhart working the crowd here in Calgary. A stomp to the back of the head of the Freak. And here's a shoulder claw. The Freak in a bit of trouble now. Taken down to the canvas once more. The Freak winds him up. Shoulder tackle. The Anvil counters with a backdrop body drop. Stomp to the midsection. The Anvil, whoa! Beautiful suplex from Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Rounds the Freak up by the throat. The Freak counters. Rips the Anvil to his team's corner. Gets him up on the top turnbuckle, and somebody's going for a top rope superplex. This is going to be a nasty ride all the way down. The Freak sets it up on the top turnbuckle. Oh, man. With a deafening crash. And the crowd in Calgary seems to be appreciating all the action. The Freak rounds up Jim the Anvil Neidhart, winds up the arm, goes behind the Anvil, counters with an elbow. The Freak counters with a hard left. The Anvil with a slap right to the face of the Freak. Here's a fireman's carry on Jim the Anvil Neidhart. The Anvil rounded up again. Head first into the apron. Referee Tom Kanemura still continuing the count here. The Freak with the hard whip gets the Anvil inside the ring again. The Anvil backing off, backpedaling. Here comes Bret the Hitman Hart to take things over. Kick to the midsection. The Hitman catches a knee from the Freak. Counters the Freak with a kick. Turns him around. Has him up. Has him down. Bret the Hitman Hart. With that technical brilliance, there's a stomp to the head of the Freak. A little bit of a spiteful stomp to the face. The Freak counters into a back body drop. Bret the Hitman Hart puts on the brakes. Counters the kick into a dragon screw. Rams him up. Bret the Hitman Hart countered with an arm drag by the Freak. Kick to the midsection from Bret the Hitman Hart. Look at this, nice crucifix. Here's the cover. 1, 2. Oh, close but no cigar. Shut up. The Hitman whips the Freak into the far corner. The Freak counters with an elbow. Running DDT head first into the canvas goes Bret the Hitman Hart. The Freak delivers a stomp. Rounds up the Hitman. The Hitman counters. Gets a hold of the Freak. Has him up. He's going to go for the pile driver, and he nailed it. The Freak catching the hold of that pile driver. Bret the Hitman Hart wiped out and busted up, but here we go. The Hitman setting it up here. The Freak to his feet, but right back down again. Here we go one more time. Into the sharpshooter. Tom Kanemaru watching the Freak here. Oh, man. Big time trouble for the Freak. He's tapping out. That is it. Bret the Hitman Hart getting a tap out win from the Psychodelix.
The time, 13 minutes and 40 seconds. Your winners by submission, the Hart Foundation.
Okay, get a look at Bret the Hitman Hart. Not the first time he shed blood in an RWL ring. Won't be the last, but what a matchup with the Psychodelix. Well, the Freak and the Wild Thing, well known for their long-haul tag team matches. They delivered one of those tonight. The only downside was that the Hart Foundation winds up picking up the win. Well, naturally, once Bret the Hitman Hart snaps on the sharpshooter center ring, you got no ropes to get to. Well, that was pretty much the end of it for the Freak.
Bret and the Anvil getting a loud round of fan love for this win in the hometown of the Hart Dynasty, Stampede Wrestling, and so much more wrestling history. I'm sure the Psychodelix will take the loss in stride.
When we come back, Memphis Million heiress Jody Dvorak, right after this.